What's up, all my N7s? So today we're gonna try something new. I just saw that there's a small trend going on right now, which is a Mass Effect Ultimate Squad tier list. So I'm gonna place my favorite squad mates from S ranking to D ranking. You can see right here. Okay, so I guess most of you have already heard that the news for the release date for Legendary Edition or Mass Effect Legendary Edition is supposed to be around the 12th of March. This is not confirmed. It was, however, pulled by two different stores when they had accidentally put up the release date, but we can't confirm that this is the true release date or not. Just have in mind that it might be the 12th of March, but it might also be in April. Who the heck knows? Okay, so let's go. So for my next video, I'm gonna talk about this guy. So I'm just gonna start right off the bat with my absolute favorite character in the entire series. You can see my cursor is hovering right above this guy. I'm just gonna place him right over here where he belongs, because in my opinion Rex is he's possibly one of he's just cool, you know? He's like that old uncle you have on your team that he always has your back, he always protects you if you build a good relationship with him. Of course, if you decide to kill him on Vermeer, but well, I don't know what to say. You have betrayed everything that Mass Effect stands for, which is friendship and romance and all that jazz, whatever. Alright, so I'm just gonna say that Rex is basically my all-time favorite character in Mass Effect, but he isn't the only one that has that top spot. My heart has a soft spot for, okay, you guessed it, Liara, of course. I just love her. I don't think there's a special reason to why I love Liara so much. It's just that she was probably my first crush. My first video game crush, not my real crush. But Blue Booty, you can never go wrong with her. Even if they shoved her in your faces during the entire trilogy, I still feel like she is the absolute most attractive female character in the game. I almost always romance her when I'm playing male Shep Blue Booty. Okay. Legion. Look, I'm just gonna place everybody in S ranking because I love everybody so much. Legion is, even if he wasn't in the first game, he's definitely made an impression during the second game where you get him in your squad. He's basically a malfunctioning Geth, but not really, considering he's more of a woke Geth, if you could call it that. He's just so adorable, you know? He's just always so very curious about Shepard Commander, and he's always one of those loyal squad mates. You always know where he's at, and you always know his opinion on stuff. Not necessarily that he has a real opinion because he's a Geth. He's a robot. Well, he is an AI basically. So he just wants to create peace, so to speak. He just wants to fight for his race, which is pretty interesting considering he's an artificial being, but that also gives him, like, as a character, a lot of life, so to speak. Okay, shit, I don't know where to place all these. Okay, let's go with Kaidan. We can put him like C, I think. He's like, nah, maybe B. He's a bro. He's just boring, you know. There's nothing fun about Kaidan. He's pretty I've romanced him once, I think, as a female Shep, but he's just no fun. he's pretty boring. There's nothing much to say about Kaidan. He's pretty forgettable, considering that he can be also, you know, Rex can also die in the first game, but Kaidan, and where is he? I mean, Ashley. Because of that, we can actually take Ashley and put her like on C, because I don't dislike Ashley that much that I just want to get rid of her completely. She's she kind of grew on me on one of my playthroughs when I tried to romance her just to see how I would feel, but I didn't, you know, she wasn't my favorite. She's also kind of bland. Actually, I think I'll just place, because they're not the worst characters, they're just like in the middle, you know. They're boring and they're kind of the same. Of course, that was like by design. They're supposed to be almost like the same characters, but they're really not. She has a completely different temperament, and she can be somewhat bitchy. But she's fine, you know. She grows on me on the third game, but she's still pretty boring. Okay, I'm gonna leave him to next to last. Let's see, EDI. She's just awesome. If you might have noticed, I have a hard time standing on a middle ground somewhere here. I tend to either love characters or just not care too much about them. But EDI, she's a voice in the ship in the start, which I just love because she's humorous as fuck and she's just funny. She's great. Her personality is awesome, and then she gets put into a sexy robot body. who can object to that? So we're just gonna keep EDI right there. She's not the best character, but she's definitely up there. Mordin, I think he's an A actually. Yeah, he's interesting just because that guy that always takes his work too seriously, but then also he has that song going. Can't remember it now. Oh, the scientific Salarian or whatever it is. Whatever. Mordin is just great. He does his best to cure the genophage, even if you try to stop him and sabotage. Why would you? What are you, masochist? Same thing as I thought about Rex. Why would you kill these guys? Why would you betray them? They're awesome. They're great, and they're also morally great characters because Mordin just regrets what he did, and Rex Rex is just Rex. Okay, Samara. Where do I play Samara? God damn it. She's not that boring. She's actually pretty nice. She's a MILF. So I'm just gonna place her on A. Well, I'm having a hard time remembering what her entire story was about. I think it was like her daughter betrayed her or something, or became a monster. Anyway, so she's all right. I'm gonna put her on A because yeah, she's pretty aight. Romancing her is wait, can you even romance her? I can't even remember. You probably can, but I didn't do it in that case too many times already. If you've noticed, I've played through every game so many times that. But I can't remember any time that I romanced Samara, so I can't really remember if she was romanceable. Look at this, I can't even remember his name. He's a Drell though. How can I not remember his name? What's his name? Thane, of course. How can I forget him? Okay, he's aight. He's pretty boring though. I never really romanced him. I was never really attracted to him. So yeah, I don't know why. It's just I find him pretty it might be his eyes. It might be that he's a Drell. They have like these black, almost soulless eyes, so I just didn't but also that's Salarians too. But no, they don't have completely black eyes, right? They have some form of shape with their iris or something, but Drell? Nah. He's nah. It's pretty boring. Sorry, every Drell lover. Okay, so what do we have then? This guy, I know I'm putting him here. He's not boring, but I wasn't too engaged in his story, so I can't put him up here because he's not good enough to be like on the upper reaches of characters, but he's not boring either, but he's just not as engaging, and I don't even think he's romanceable. Not that I would want to. He's too much of a badass, and I love badass characters, but I don't think I engaged too much with him throughout the series, actually. No, I didn't. And I don't think he appears very much in the third game either, so... Okay, let's go with this guy. Shit, where do I put him? Like, he's not the... yeah, I think I'll put him on C. He's pretty average. Like, he's a meathead. The biggest issue I have with him is that he doesn't really look very interesting as a character. He doesn't even resemble his voice actor. He's not like him at all. Of course, neither is this guy, and neither are any of these except for her. But I don't know, his face just doesn't fit. He's just so lifeless and boring. I think I tried romancing him once as a femshep. Kind of boring. His muscles are weird. not in the bodybuilder kind of way, weird. He just like the textures, it's just no, nah. Jack is pretty okay, actually. I wasn't too engaged in her either. She has a cool backstory, I dig that. So I'm just gonna put her here because she's average for me. She wasn't the most engaging for me. She's not the most memorable for me. She's okay, she's very angry. That's cool. That's her like that's her strength. She's always so pissed off for some reason. I know the reason, but whatever. Okay, now this is gonna start getting hard. Oh, why did I forget about Tali? Tali's fucking awesome. She's just the as I said in my Tali video, she's basically the character that you really, even if you can't see her face necessarily, her personality more than weighs up for it. She's of course that the girl she's very unsure of herself, which makes her very charming to me. And the fact that as Shepard you can like lift her up, that just redeems her like the fact that you can't really see her that much. And her voice actor is awesome. She's doing a great job. I have a hard time choosing between Tali and Liara sometimes, so that should explain to you how hard this is for me. But yeah, they're basically on the same rank here. Garrus, just put him up here. Garrus is a bro. It's just he's the bro. You just gotta bring him with you. He's like I think stats wise, gameplay wise, Garrus is like a must because he just lifts your team up so much. But then I have a hard time choosing between him, and then Rex, then Liara, this guy, and Tali. So Garrus is the first pick of every gameplay, of every mission for me. And then one of these. Very seldom any of these, actually, that I bring with me. Then we have Kasumi she's cute. I'll give that. She's attractive, but wasn't too engaged in her story. She appeared pretty late. I didn't really get to know her that well, I felt like. Wasn't that too engaged in her. Kasumi, she's an alright character, just kind of bland. Okay, Miranda. Hell yeah, Miranda. She's, of course, attractive. She's not an ace like these guys up here, but she's obviously pretty memorable because of you know what. But then again, she is actually played by a really good actress, and she looks like her too, which is just, can I do it on this side because you didn't see? She's awesome. Miranda, what more can you say? She's she has a surprisingly deep story. She has you get it. Here we go. Grunt. Why did I forget about Grunt? Grunt is like a miniature Rex. He is endearing in a way because of the fact that he's a child, basically. But he's just slightly lower than Rex. He's not much worse than him as a character. The fact that he is a clone and you basically have to raise him, it just he's memorable in his own right because of that fact, you know. Then we have the remaining two here. Okay, this is pretty easy. Javik, while I enjoy his race, I didn't really like the design, and I'm a very design-oriented guy, you know, around the character's face and whatnot. I think I'm gonna place him on B tier. Even if he's awesome in some ways, there's still issues where I just found that the Protheans would be different. You know what I'm saying? There was a race that you found on Mass Effect 1 where they had like tentacles for beards, sort of like Cthulhu's. That was then stated to be another race, I think, in the third game, and they were not Protheans, which disappointed me quite. So even if Javik's a cool character, I just find that design-wise they were pretty boring. Of course, they made a smart decision of making them look like the collectors, but I think I would have enjoyed much more to have them as the old kind of idea of what Protheans would look like. And I think actually that was supposed to be with the tentacles and stuff. And I think that's more like, it's a cooler idea to have them become, you know, the collectors, which are completely barren of any sort of cool features. They're basically just blank, you know, insect-like creatures. And that's what I found so very cool, that, oh, these tentacly, this mysterious race that was, you know, erased from existence was made to look like insects. That would just show to me how technologically advanced the Reapers were, because they completely flipped the switch on the genetics for the Protheans. But then it turns out to be like this kind of collector-like look, and I just didn't really fall for it. Then we have this guy. Here's the thing. Okay, here. I wonder what people are gonna say now. So I'm not gonna put him on D, but I might put him on C. Yes. He's as boring as this guy. There's just nothing really. There's nothing about him. He actually has a kind of a cool, you know, story where you have to help him save his father and whatnot, and it's a complicated relationship between him and his father. I felt like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of relatable in a way. But then his just, you know, these guys, like, they're no fun. They're kind of boring, and these two are almost equally as boring, except that I found them more memorable because they had more lines, maybe. I don't know. And the fact that either of them sacrificed themselves on Vermeer, or whatever the planet is called, that just brings them up a notch for me, because you can actually create somewhat of a connection with these two. These two are just, I just feel like these two were introduced as alternative romances because they wanted to put more romances into the game. Yeah, so these guys up here are easily the best characters and the entire series, in my opinion. I wish we had seen more of Legion. I wish we could have seen him in the first game. That would have been really cool. So you could, like, you know, have him for longer, so to speak. And then we have these guys who are pretty good. Those as well, pretty memorable. They have good backstories and all that. B tier is B tier because they're kind of boring. I didn't really get engaged by any of them. The only one that I'm having a hard time with is Jack. I think I would be able to put Jack above B on A, but considering that I never bonded with her too much, I think I'm just gonna let her be here. Javik is cool and all, but I was disappointed in the Prothean design and whatnot, so I'm just gonna keep him on B. He didn't exceed, or he didn't meet my expectations for what the Protheans would be. And then we have these guys. None of them are like the worst. Not that boring. I mean, they're not that interesting. Nothing much happens with them as characters, and I just didn't feel like bonding with them. It's strange. But anyways, yeah, so this is my list. I guess that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.